Welcome, everyone. I am Diane McKeever. I am going to moderate today's presentation, and we have with us a presenter, Angelica Kennedy, who is from Cincinnati. She's an import. Before before we get started hearing what Angelica has to tell us about social media basics with innovative strategies, I need to tell you a little bit about SCORE. So sit down and we'll just go through this quickly and then we can start the presentation. So for those of you who don't know what SCORE is, it's a nationwide nonprofit organization that's a resource partner of the Small Business Administration, or the SBA. SCORE provides free, confidential, in-person and online business educational services. We are happy to work with you one-on-one in a mentoring capacity. Our chapter, which is the Minnesota chapter, which is a portmanteau of Manatee and Sarasota counties in Florida, our chapter has, well, it says 50 years. It's actually 60 years that we've been in existence. And right now we have nearly 90 volunteers waiting to help you and your business and make a difference. And our chapter was recently recognized as a chapter of the year. Well, when do you want to contact SCORE to help you in your business? Well, very often it seems that people have just woken up that morning and said, I had an idea last night. Let's kick it past a SCORE mentor. And we love to hear your ideas. So pre-startup, or maybe you're in the startup phase and you realize that you don't know as much as you thought you knew, and you want to make sure that you dot all the I's and cross all the T's. Or you're in business and you realize that you're stagnant, that you need to grow. We can help you with those business strategies. Or lastly, if you're selling or closing your business, or conversely, you want to buy a business, let's help you so that you don't pay too much for the business or that you don't sell it for too little. We have teams that are expert in that, and we can help you. We like to thank our sponsors and community partners. You'll notice that many of our sponsors are financial institutions. I can guarantee that they will listen to you a lot more closely if you come in with a SCORE mentor and a business plan rather than a pile of papers and let them determine whether or not you are worthy of the loan. So consider getting a mentor if you're planning on financing any of your business. So let's kick this off. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And Angelica, if you would start sharing yours, you will be in charge.
But as she said, my name is Angelica Kennedy, and I am the social media professor. Just a little bit about myself before we get into social media basics with innovative strategies. I have been in higher education for over 25 years. I'm currently the the executive assistant to the president of Cincinnati State. I'm also an adjunct instructor at Cincinnati State, teaching FYE, and then I also teach at the University of Cincinnati in the electronic media program at the College Conservatory of Media at UC, where I teach social media as well as media writing. I have a master's in education and a master's in communication, specifically script writing. I am also working on my doctorate in education, hopefully to work in student success, but also to encourage individuals in their dreams, their backgrounds, and their media and communications. So that's a little bit about me. Let's talk about what we are going to uh, achieve today. So by the end of this session, you will be able to understand social media fundamentals, explore innovative strategies, and begin creating your social media strategy plan. And that is the most important part, and that is starting so that you can launch and continue to develop your plan. My hope is once you receive your plan, you'll go to your mentors and they will help you develop it specifically for your business. If you need additional help, please reach out to myself. I will be more than happy to help you through that process, and I'll provide my information at the end of the presentation. Now, why does social media matter? Okay, social media is not going anywhere. And the reason is that the powers that be found a way to make it monetary or to monetize it. And basically, it is an inexpensive way to advertise and to reach customers directly, right? So if you think back in the day, direct mail was, they send it directly to your home. Here with social media, and social media is beyond Facebook, Twitter, and all of those popular platforms. There are tons of platforms that are available, and you may be interacting on a social media platform and not realize that it is a social media app. The reason that this direct customer feedback is generated through social media because you are providing information, maybe sometimes unknowingly, to individuals. And it can be as simple as liking a product or disliking a product, but they have all of that information that they compile, and this is great information for the advertisers. That way they spend less money in sending out direct mail or advertising to the masses. So instead of doing a large $50 million commercial, 30-minute commercial, say it's a Super Bowl commercial, instead, because they have you on social media, they know exactly what you want to see, so they send it directly to you instead of the masses. So that is cost effective for them, but it's also cost effective for the individual as well. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. So when you are for a small business, this, if you are not on social media in general as a small business, you are missing out. This is the new word of mouth. So if you have a good audience, they are your advertisers. They're going to uh, advertise what they like about your business, what they want to see more of in your business, and there's different ways to do that, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So when you have a small business and you want to use social media, you want to pick the right platforms to use. And like I said, there are tons of different platforms to choose from. The ones that are identified at the bottom are just a few. The for small businesses, I would recommend, okay, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Facebook. Those are the top ones. I would even say as Twitter moves away, as TikTok is more for younger audiences, Pinterest would be another um, platform to use or channel to use. And the reason why I put that as number 5 is because it's a little less known than some of the other platforms. But I will explain just a little bit about Pinterest. Pinterest is basically a place, an app, a platform that individuals can go to get ideas. Think of it as a digital vision board. Okay. And so say that it's a young lady or a young man who wants to put their wedding together, right? And so they go to Pinterest and they get different ideas and so forth, and they put it on their board. And when they put it on their board, it is uh, a electronic link directly to the product. So as an advertiser, as a small business, you want that kind of connection. They're no longer having to go out and search or Google or any of that. They have the information right there. They can click on the exact product that they want and it takes them to your platform. So Pinterest is what's called an e-commerce or a electronic commerce, somewhere where you can buy goods and items electronically, like Amazon. Okay, so I would say as a small business, and if you're selling products such as that, maybe it's not a product, maybe it is an idea, maybe it's a branding idea. Pinterest would be a number 5 runner up. Instagram. Instagram is kind of like Pinterest, okay? It has become more of an e-commerce platform. And because it is the first visual platform, and before Instagram, Facebook and Twitter did not use pictures or video. Instagram became the primary platform to use that, and then has since been bought by Facebook. So they are part of the Meta brand. And so this is where, again, like Pinterest, your item can be visually seen. Either you post it or your customer posts it, someone likes it and they post it, and people have that visual identification right away. So this is a great platform for businesses. Another great platform is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a business to business platform. If you're not on LinkedIn as a small business, you are missing out. This is a way that you connect with other businesses. You grow your platform. You also generate collaborations and so forth. So it is a business platform. That's how it started. And it is a great platform to get involved with. Then TikTok, I don't right now. TikTok is slowly growing. It is geared more towards the younger audience, and when I say younger, I'm talking about preteen to middle teen to maybe college students, maybe some college students. It is growing in its popularity. However, it is declining in its popularity because of the regulations and so forth that the country has put on it. There are some institutions, higher education institutions, that will not allow TikTok to be used on their campuses. So with that said, you want to look at TikTok as a long game, something that you might want to invest in the future and prepare for. It is a visual platform as well, gearing more to short videos. If you remember Vine, where it was like 6-second videos, it has gone on for minutes now. You can do minute videos, but and it's more music generated and so forth. However, it could be a good platform to use in the future, depending on your audience. Facebook is another platform that is a great platform to use. I believe that Facebook is, even though it is one of the oldest platforms, it is very innovative. It is using AI. It has moved into the metaverse and so forth. And I know I'm throwing out a lot of terminology that if you're not familiar with Meta, it can be a little confusing. However, Facebook, being the parent company, is a great platform to be a part of because, one, it is one of the oldest, and that is the primary staple of social media is longevity. And because some people use Facebook just because they have memories and so forth that have been on it for years, and that's why they continue to use it. It is about community engagement, and it is geared towards a certain population and so forth. However, it can be used as well because it has adopted photos and video as a good platform geared towards a different audience versus TikTok and Instagram, which Instagram is geared more towards the 20, 30-year-old range, college range. So let's, now that you have chosen the right platform, it's time to create the right type of content. And so there's three that that all of content usually falls into: promotional, education, and entertaining. A lot of people don't like social media because they see social media as more of an entertainment than it being promotional or even educational. As I've told you, I've had over 25 years of experience in education. I do have a certification from HubSpot for social media marketing. And I didn't pick that up until about 3 to 5 years ago. And it was out of an angst, basically, like, what is this social media thing that, even though it had been around for at least 15 years before that, and so once I got into it, I was like, this is a great tool. And a lot of people, because it's entertaining source, or people think of it that way, they kind of undermined it. But they also see it as, oh, people are just putting out good information. They don't tell you about the bad stuff in the world. And I say, you know what? So what? At least we're getting good stuff out in the world, right? So it can be, that's when I picked it up and said, you know what? It can be used as an educational platform too, to educate others. So when you are creating your content, whatever you are promoting, you want to have a balanced mix. You want to promote what you are providing. You want to provide education about what you're providing because you are the subject matter expert. You are the guru of that, whether people believe it or not. You are the guru, whether you have number one before your title or not. You are the guru. They can come to you for education about whatever you are providing. And then you want to provide some entertaining because people go to those platforms to take a break. There are statistics out there that people use social media during their breaks more than anything else. They go straight to social media. So promotional, educational, entertaining. What does that look like? Well, say that you are a plumber, right? And that's your small business. You want to provide promotional information about your business. Now, with that said, there is a promotional mix because social media is social and it is an encouraging platform. You want to promote your audience's uh, what they're interested in the most. You want to promote their information, their interests 80% of the time. And 20% of the time, you want to promote, that your business is having a special on a plumbing service or something of that nature. And that sounds a little bit wonky, but because social media is social, that is their basis. This is a way for people to gather, a way for people to understand different things. Uh, this is the way that that you would do promotion well. It's 80% of the time you're promoting your audience's interest, and then 20% of the time you are promoting your own information. Okay. It is a relational service. Social media is relational. It is not selling. And so that's why you would only sell or promote 20% of the time. Okay. Education. If you're a plumber, you are going to provide some content that would show your audience how to unclog a sink. something that's simple, something that they can use and say, hey, that was very valuable. I like this company because they are interested in helping me. Okay, so you want to provide educational information. You'll want to use the 80-20 rule on that as well. 80% of the time you're talking about the interest of your audience, and 20% of the time you're talking about something that has to do specifically with your business. Entertaining. This is where you can step a little bit out of the box and you can provide entertaining videos, photos, maybe your mascot. Maybe you have a dog as your mascot and he's doing, you know, certain tricks or something like that. That's entertaining. That's what's going to bring people also back to your platform, to your channel. Just think about some of the major brands such as Target. Spot was very entertaining in the beginning. He's kind of fallen in the background, but there are some brands that have mascots or some kind of entertaining piece to their social media mix. So I would encourage you to do that as well. Now, with that said, photos make people stop, videos make them stay. So anytime you promote any of this content, you want to use at least one photo. If you don't if you have a video, I would use that first because again, just think about it. People stop for videos, right? Think about a high-speed car chase. If it's going, people are stopping. They're watching, right? So you want them to stop. And once they get that content, they want to see what else you can provide. Okay. So again, photos make people stop, videos make them stay. Now, the next step that you would do is to create a content calendar. Okay, so once you got your content mixed together, what you plan to do, and so forth, you want to create a calendar. And it can look as simple as this, as a spreadsheet. You have the date that you are going to provide the information, and then you have the title of the um, content, then the date that you are going to publish it, and what type of post it would be. Maybe it's a blog post or a graphic, or maybe it's just text, maybe it's just a couple of lines. And then you want to put, you know, maybe a status. This is not required, but this is just a good idea of how to create a calendar, a content calendar. They come in different ways. If you Google content calendar, social media content calendars, you may see something that's a little more visual. So once you have that, that allows you to be a little more strategic in when you are providing the information and how you're providing information. So it allows you to be, again, a little more strategic. Okay, so these are the innovative strategies. So you got the basics of what you need to do. There are some things that can just blow things out of the water, and this is a list of it, okay? But the one that I want to point out is AI, automation and AI tools, artificial intelligence. Please, please, please don't be afraid of AI. AI is wonderful, okay? I can create, and actually I did this yesterday. So in addition to being the executive assistant to the president of Cincinnati State, I'm also her social media manager. That's another job. And so yesterday I was doing her social media and I just was like, you know what? I'm tired. I can't figure out something to say about trustee, this new trustee who has been on our board for 10 years. He's leaving, and we just want to say thank you and congratulations and so forth. So I plugged all of that information into ChatGPT, and I said that I was going to put it on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. And I said, could you provide the text for each of those platforms? And within a second, it printed or gave me 4 different texts to provide on each one of those platforms. And all I had to do was add, well, I proofread it, of course, used critical thinking, and then added photos that I had previously of the trustee member of the event of us presenting him with awards. And he loved chocolate chip cookies, so we got him a big cookie and things like that. It was entertaining, it was informative, and it created relationships within that post. And so again, I used AI. It took me seconds to do it instead of struggling and figuring out what to say on Instagram, what to say on LinkedIn, because each one of those platforms have a requirement of how many characters you can use, how many photos you can use, and so forth. So AI did all of that for me. So that's an innovative strategy that you can use. I am working on a certification in AI. And so if that's help that you would need, I can help you with that, give you a few pointers on that, and point you in the right direction as well. Okay, so this is the hands-on activity. We're right on time. I want to take about a couple of minutes, and what I want you to do is think about what we said about your audience, identifying your audience. So your audience, of course, is those individuals that are buying from you, those individuals that you hopefully will buy from you. Your audience is the family members, the friends of those who are buying from you, right? And those who may be interested in your product, okay, in some way or form. Also, you want to think about who are your competitors. Who are your allies? Those are all your audience. So think about that for a couple of seconds, couple of maybe 30 seconds. Write those down. Just maybe write 3 of those, and they don't have to be, one of each or anything like that. If they're all just who's going to buy from you, that's fine. Just identify an audience. If you're not sure who your audience is, put a question mark and speak with your mentor. Ask them, uh, who is my audience? Okay. But that is something that you would learn in the building of your business. I will say that how I was contacted to provide this presentation. I was currently the VP of Education for Houston SCORE. So I am a part of the SCORE family. I've stepped back and I'm doing primarily presentations right now instead of vice president. So I know how SCORE operates, and I'm sure the Minnesota chapter has something that would help you. Please tell me if I'm wrong,
You're
moderator, if.
absolutely right. We have quite a few of our mentors who are well-versed in social media,
Mhm,
including AI, and we would be more than happy to work you through this. Who is your target audience?
mhm,
Describe them as best you can.
yeah. Okay, so let's take a couple of seconds and then select your platforms. So we talked about the top 4, um, and then a 5th one. We talked about Instagram, which is primarily photo and video content, and it is now considered an e-commerce platform. We talked about LinkedIn, which is a business to business platform. And it is, you can use photos and long form content as well as video, but it is limited. It's not a great place to market, but it is a great way to create community and relationship, especially for business to business. Then we talked about TikTok, which again, unless you are selling toys or let's say anything of interest from the preteen preteen to um, maybe 16-year-old, loosely in the college realm. I would say again, that's for the long game, but it is primarily a video platform, pictures maybe, but if you don't have video, TikTok is not for you. And then we talked about Facebook. And that is, I would say, the OG or the grandfather of social media. And that is a platform. If your audience is in the 40 to 60-year-old range, that platform is going to be a great platform for you, or channel for you. It does skew younger, but very few. But it is a relationship community building platform. um, if they are younger and they're on Facebook, it's because their parents are, and they're sharing information for them um, to know about. Okay. And then we talked about Pinterest a little bit. And again, that is a e-commerce platform as well. Great for businesses, small businesses as well. We did not talk about Twitter. Twitter is slowly fading away. Um, there are other platforms such as Blue Sky that have are trying to. People are gearing more towards Blue Sky and some of the other platforms that have that same um, content. Twitter is more news based platform. That's how it started, and it started primarily with short form information. It still has short form information, but now it also includes video and photos, but it is minimal. So that's one of the reasons, or a few reasons, why we didn't talk about Twitter. Okay, so now let's set your goals. What do you hope, now that you have an interest of using social media more for your business? What are your goals? Is it to create content? Because as you can see, social media is a lot of work, especially if you are doing it solo. I encourage your organization, your small business, that every member is a part of your team, your social media team. Um, the janitor to the president, okay? Because 9 times out of 10, they're using social media. But if you have a small business, everyone should be included. Another one of my jobs at Cincinnati State is that I am the uh, social media um, organizer for our influencers. So if you want to think of Kim Kardashian, she's a social media influencer. We have influencers in the college. They consist of students, faculty, and staff, and they pick a topic, and sometimes I'll provide them with information that we all share, that we all collaborate with, that we talk about. The whole point of social media is getting your information out there, and for others to learn from that and to bring their own perspectives from it and so forth. So again, as I said, from the janitor to the president, everyone, especially with a small business, should be contributing to your channel or platform. And so set those goals. What do you want to do? Create content, maybe start your influencer team. Um, just figure out what your platforms are right now. Okay. Then 4, take a couple of minutes. What type of content do you want to focus on first? And we said the content is promotional, educational, and entertaining. Which one do you want to focus on now? Do you want to focus on all 3 of them? Do you have the time to, grab photos and video and then come up with, short form information to go with it, or long form if it's LinkedIn or Facebook. Once you brainstorm that content, the next thing is to plan your first post. Maybe it's a month from now, maybe it's tomorrow. Just plan to give yourself kind of a target. Okay, I see while you guys are working on that, I see a few things in the chat that I will just go over. Okay. Exactly, Karen. If Karen asks if our new business is a nonprofit, I guess that means our audience can be champions. Oh, it jumped just a second. Champions for our cause, including additional volunteers. Yes, absolutely. It's anyone who has an interest in your nonprofit or your business. And so that would be your audience. Good. And Diane is championing that as well, confirming that. Okay, Karen also asks, what's the best way to share content that is only audio? We're a nonprofit brand and we want audio to be shared, but I guess we need to share video only. Yes, so unless if your content, your audio is like say it's what is it? Just instructional in nature and not music, I would definitely tell you to maybe put up your logo as a photo because most platforms only allow video or photo. So no audio. Now, TikTok and some of the newer platforms, maybe Instagram, you can use that as music, but it's still going to require you to add it to some kind of visual. So social media is primarily visual. However, there are platforms like NPR that have social media platforms as well, and they may have a caveat because they are primarily audio, if that makes sense. Okay, another question. Can there be a future session on navigating music rights successfully for videos on social media platforms? Now, I'm not an expert on that. Antar asked this question. Thank you. Diane, you might have somebody, but I can tell you that if you Google copyright written music, it will allow you, it'll give you platforms that are free and platforms that you paid for and so forth. So they're in the restrictions for social media are no different than for like commercials and so forth.
I would consider subscribing to a service or,
Hmm.
as you say, a free service.
Hmm.
But do make sure that you have the copyright because you could get kicked off Facebook faster than you could say help.
That's right. That's right. And I actually I don't subscribe to one in particular, but I have downloaded music and it was free. You could give a donation or something like that. And I've used it for the president's platform. So it is possible. All right. Campbell's in for the AI Zoom class.
Right. We actually had one recently.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure we will have one again.
Awesome. So let's move on. I hope that you were able to answer the questions 1 through 5. This gives you a start to your social media strategy plan, which can be um, a little cumbersome. For my social media course at the University of Cincinnati. I have each one of my students work with nonprofits, and they create social media. They take the whole semester to create a social media plan for that nonprofit. And so it takes time to do, but this is a great start. And what I would encourage you to do is reach out to your mentor or a social media specialist who can continue to work on this plan with you. Or there are services that you can go to through like HubSpot and so forth that you can pay for. But this is a free, little to no cost way to advertise, and it's more hands-on, it's more direct marketing as well. Oops, went a little fast there. Okay, so do we have any additional questions?
Well, read Karen's question. She's
Okay.
interested in how can they get to be one of your victims, as it were,
Uh-oh.
in your class as a nonprofit band.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, well, if you send me your information, what will happen is my class will start August 25th, actually. And then once we have I will get your contact information, your website. If you don't have a website as of yet, I would encourage you to do so. Um,
Could you put your email address in the chat to make it
ye-
easy for them?
yes, here, I will do that, but I'll also put up a slide too.
Yep.
Oops. So this slide here, this is where you can contact me on LinkedIn. I would love to keep in contact with each one of you. Here is my contact information. Angelica Entertainment is my web address, and then angelicaentertainment@gmail.com is my contact information. And I'll put that in the chat.
Oh, I was just putting it in for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. And then I also can I have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube platforms or channels. And I do have a Instagram. Did I say Instagram and LinkedIn? Instagram platform and a couple of other ones, but it is a lot of work to manage all of those platforms. So I've narrowed it down to my three here. And this is based off of my audience, just like I showed you guys, based off of the content I'm providing, how I want to connect and create community and so forth. So um, this is another way that you can reach out to me. I do have an AI QR code that you can capture if you like. And the reason why I post this is because did you know that it takes about 500 milliliters of water to generate one AI post? Just one. And so typically the water that is used is from countries or around countries that that already have a water shortage. So this is my way of giving back is in addition to donations and so forth, is providing information about AI because it's a little known right now what the ramifications of AI are as we continue to use it and as it gets popular. So if you capture this QR code, it'll tell you a little bit more about AI and its social um, constraints and so forth. So that is the end of my presentation, and I thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Could you
Um,
stop sharing and
sure,
I will put up a couple of closing slides and
sure.
we'll be looking at the chat for additional questions.
Mhm.
I see that there are, in fact, a couple more.
Okay.
Um, can you address those?
Yes, I see that Antar said, one more question. How would you rate Patreon and its popularity as a platform? Patreon is a very popular platform as far as I know. It's not, this is one of those platforms where it's not a popular one as far as like Facebook, LinkedIn. It's for those who are specific in understanding that channel, that platform. And so I would say that Yeah, it's popular. I know a lot of people who use it compared to its counterparts, or those that are like it. Um, but that's about as much information that I can provide for you. Let's see here. Karen said, I really
Yeah.
appreciate your volunteering your time with us. Yes, thank you. No problem. Okay, thank you, Lynn. Okay, Teresa says, what do you do if your business name is already taken on IG? Um, on IG, it is taken, but nobody has posted in 9 years. Okay, so what you can do is reach out to IG and you can basically tell them what you just they haven't posted in 9 years. They may take that down, they may not. Another thing that you could do is create something similar to your business. Um, and that is the best that I could tell you to do is to reach out to Instagram. And you could do the same with Facebook. I've seen them do that before, take down old accounts. Okay. All right. And then Karen says, you're welcome, Antar. Karen says, what's the solution now with SCORE and the federal funding now that the administration is pulling funding back? That's a Diane question.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That is the $64,000 question. We
Yes.
are right now completely in limbo. We are funded through the end of our fiscal year, which is the end of September. And after that, it will be interesting. There are many thoughts about how we can continue forward, but it's in such a state of flux that I don't really think that anyone knows the answer to that. Unfortunately, if you have any influence out there and with anybody at the SBA has gotten some funding, but
Yes.
from my understanding, uh, SCORE is not a line item in that funding,
Mhm.
but that can change.
Yes, and I'd have to concur with Diane. My sister is the president of SCORE Houston, and that's how I got roped into to doing VP of Education for SCORE Houston. But she said the exact same thing that Diane said. Yeah, we really don't know after September. We're praying because SBA is pretty much like the parent that things will go in that direction. But we see it as SCORE is a valuable asset to our communities. That's why I volunteer with SCORE because we are the backbone. I have a small business as well, and we are the backbone of this country. And I just pray that it goes in that direction.
From your mouth to God's ear, as they
Right.
say. So I'd like to just suggest if you don't have a mentor, it can be a valuable partner to help you in your business. Go to score.org/Minnesota and you'll be able to click on request a mentor. You'll put in your zip code and a little bit about what you're looking for, and the appropriate mentor will be assigned to you. Um, I want to thank you all for attending our webinar. I hope you felt that it was valuable. I felt it was valuable and took some notes, and I hope that you did also. You will be getting an email with a link to this recording, and as well as a PDF of the slides that were used. So if you didn't take all the notes that you hoped for, hopefully that will fill in the blanks for you. You'll be getting a survey in the next few days about what you thought about the webinar and what could be improved or what was fabulous about it. And more importantly, as Angelica and I, since we were both a part of the education at our respective SCORE chapters, what other topics are you interested in? We for sure know you're interested in AI, but there must be other topics that are high on your list. So please fill in that survey. We'd really appreciate it. Any parting words that you have for our participants?
I just want to underscore that you all are very important as small business owners, and the contribution that you're doing or providing to your community is not overlooked. So thank you so much for being a part of this presentation to learn more about how your business can thrive. And if you want to reach out, please do.
Very good. Well, thank you for sharing your time with us, Angelica. I appreciate it, and I think all of our participants do. And we
Thank
hope
you.
to see all of you at the next event that we have. Keep you will be getting emails about it, that's for sure. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.